Take a breath.
Yep. So today may look a little different at school. Okay, there are probably going to be friends who have questions, right? I'm sure your teachers are going to, I think, we currently are in a country where we get to choose, right? And people have different priorities. They have different values. Some people hear what he has to say and they don't believe him. And some people hear what he has to say and they believe him and they agree with him. So today's probably, your school day is probably going to look pretty normal. Okay. Your teachers are going to do a really great job of, if you have questions throughout the day or if you have big feelings throughout the day.
Do you like these?
Are you sad?
I'm very sad.
Spirit of America and in the proud spirit of our great country.
I just got 3 things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your engine!
Man, these poor crazy liberals. But before we keep going, we got a guest here today, my buddy Robert Gonzalez. I've mentioned him a couple of times, not by name. I've alluded to some, my Catholic friend here, or my Spanish mass buddy that I've known for many years. And yeah, I've known him for a long time. And say hi to the people, Robert.
How's it going, everyone? Glad to be here.
Yeah, man. So I was talking to Robert before. How old are you now, Robert?
I'm 38.
38.
Almost 40.
Yeah. Well, I'm 9 years older than you. So I've known Robert. I've known his family, and through his college phase of being a libertarian. Where would you describe yourself in college? Were you like libertarian?
I was a libertarian, and then I went to a minarchist, and then an anarcho-capitalist.
Atheist.
An atheist. I was an atheist for a long time.
Right.
So I've gone through many changes.
Right.
But I'm always open to what the truth is, right? I'm a truth seeker. So whatever the truth takes me, that's where I need to go. Right. I'm always open to changing my mind. I've changed my mind several times, but I just hear all the facts, all the information, and then I make a choice whether I'm incorrect or I need to change my position.
What's going on, Alfred? You're looking at me weird.
Go for it. No. I just want to make sure. We got it. They're just sending us a clue. No sound on the audio, the video.
No sound on the video?
We're working on it.
Oh, man.
Static, man.
You guys missed out. Alfred, we're going to have to fix it, and I think we'll have to replay it again.
We will replay it.
I thought we had that figured out, though.
Yeah, we did. I mean, apparently, I don't know if there's maybe copyrights. It could happen.
I don't know, man. But so did you guys hear the intro video of the mom?
Just the mom.
The woke mom. Did you guys hear the woke mom? Thumbs up if you did. Because that's my yes. Oh, yes, please, Yolanda. I don't know. Are you saying yes, please? You want to hear it, or are you saying you did hear it?
I don't think she did.
I don't think she would. Did she hear it or no? She said yes.
Okay, so yes, you heard it. Okay, thumbs up. So we're clear, guys. Can you guys put a little? Are they able to put little emojis on these things?
Yes, you can.
Yeah, thumbs up if you guys heard the woke mom. Because out of all the liberal meltdowns, that was my favorite one. Oh, she says, yes, please replay the second video. Oh, the second video. Alfred. Okay, Alfred, let's try it. Because, guys, I'm still like pumped, man. I'm still pumped. And every day that goes by, it's even more exciting as we find out more and more about what Trump is going to do and who's around him, the people, the team that he's assembled. You know, we got a whole squad coming in this time around, guys. And yeah, we want to talk about it, but do we want to try to hear it?
We can try.
Do you want to try? We're gonna
test
test.
the next one just to make sure, because like you said, it's just it would suck if we were going to.
I'm hoping it's because you didn't have it on that little list you got going right there. So let's hopefully go.
Yeah, I'm gonna go this one.
Okay.
I'm gonna try this one and see. Let's see.
All right, let's do it.
Let me see.
Here we go.
Spirit of America, and in the proud spirit of our great country.
I just got 3 things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your engine!
In here too, which we'd like to hear from you guys as well.
Of course, that's
You know?
that's what's part of being Americans, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to agree. I think for the most part in the last 4 years, you guys can understand that. There was one side that was just full on, like they did not want to hear you. They didn't want to hear nothing you had to say, and unfortunately, it leads us to a very dark place in America, where everybody believed what they were saying, and it's unfortunate that when elections hit, what happened? The other side woke up. And they woke up too, right? And they got a spanking, right? Because they saw the voting.
Yep.
And boom, it wasn't the truth. It was a reality for them. And so they're continuing to be numb. But listen, as Americans, we need to be able to have conversations, regardless.
Yeah, Alfred, were you guys able to hear the woke mom? Was that audio any good?
I think they were able to hear it.
Did you guys hear the woke mom and the with her little kids crying? Let us know if you did or not.
Somebody says they don't see the post. You guys are gonna have to, if you're on X, you're gonna have to be able to you're gonna find it on either on X or YouTube or Facebook. So find us on X, Lexit Movement, and you'll be able to find the live stream on these 3 platforms. Okay.
Yep. And if you guys can go to our YouTube channel, Unrestrained Podcast, and subscribe there. We don't go live there. It'll be on there afterwards. And if you guys can help us out, once we build that channel, then we'll start going live there also. But right now we're on the Lexit platforms, which, man, wanted to talk to Rob. Me and Robert were talking before the stream. And like I was telling you guys, I've known him for a long time. So we'll text back and forth, never lost touch. And I was telling him back in the days, guys, back in 2006, when Obama won his first term, ever since then, every election season, I think, God, you were one of the few people, because you didn't vote. Did you vote for Obama the first time?
No,
you didn't, right?
Absolutely not.
Yeah,
no.
you were already, you knew what was up. Robert already knew what was going on. He was on the path.
I voted Ron Paul in that election, actually.
Yeah,
I knew he was going to lose, but I voted
right.
him anyway.
Yeah, because you were libertarian,
Right.
which I kind of consider myself pretty libertarian, actually. Well, I have libertarian
Leanings.
for
Right.
sure. Yeah, especially on social issues.
Right.
Domestic. I don't know, what would be the libertarian position on abortion?
They're pro-choice, though.
Well, I think Ron Paul was for not allowed, because it's still murdering somebody.
Right.
Right. So they're not allowed to kill.
Right.
So I think he still was pro-life in that position.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't kill somebody, because at the end of the day, you are ending a life, right? I think we should call terms what they are. It's child sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
Stop using the words like abortion. It sounds like a
Right.
computer program. Just use child sacrifice. You cannot
Right.
child sacrifice your kids.
Right.
And so it doesn't matter if so Ron Paul did not agree with that position.
Yeah, and that's just logical sense, right? Because that is basically the role of government, is to protect our freedoms and protect our life, right, and our right to live. So, yeah, guys. But yeah, I was telling Robert that every election season, as years have gone by, primaries, you know, Obama's second term, then you get into the Mitt Romney election, right? It was Mitt Romney runs against him. Then we finally get Trump. But even the first win in Trump, guess what I'm getting at is, I was telling him that observing like who's around you, like the people you talk to, right? As years have gone by, you do start running it into more people that were getting red pilled, if you will, right? Mm-hmm. As time's gone on, and so every election, you know, I'd be a little hopeful. Like, is there enough people out there that have been red pilled, you know, to win? You know, but you don't really know until there's an election and the numbers are in, because I think that's where we can test where the country stands. Right. And so this is the first time that we can honestly say that we've had enough people that have been red pilled. Obviously, you know, landslide electoral and the popular vote, which I mean, you're not surprised, right? No. But again, it's like every year you're disappointed, and every year you kind of look back and you're like, man, dude, how do people not see it? Right, Robert? So I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. So, you know, the crazy part about Trump winning is that there hasn't been no Republican has won the popular vote in about 20 years, right? I mean, he decimated Kamala Harris. Electoral College, popular vote, the Senate, Congress. This was an entire red tsunami, a red sweep, basically saying, you know what? Unfortunately, I think that the Democrats had a position, right? They had all their social issues. They basically ran on abortion. Yep. But I think most Americans were suffering economically. They were suffering with immigration happening in their country, with lawlessness. Mm-hmm. And this was them saying, guys, I don't care about transgenderism. I don't care about abortion right now. My main goal is to make sure that I have a job, make sure that I can feed my family, make sure that I can pay my bills, make sure that I have a promising future. Right. That's what they voted on.
Yeah. And you know, and what's interesting, Robert, is that, you know, so everybody's kind of like, how is the media going to react to, you know, how are they going to respond? Right. Because the numbers are in, right? The American people have spoken. Trump has a mandate, clear mandate, right? And it's just interesting that they're like, you know, misogynism and racism is a problem. You know, men, they're not willing to have a woman president, all that nonsense garbage, right? You know, it's like it doesn't even occur to them. You know, it never occurred to them that, you know, maybe guys are more concerned about like having a job and being able to take care of your family and having a safe border. And women, you know, maybe they don't care as much about killing their babies. They're more concerned with, you know, buying eggs and milk. Right. You know, they're going to in other words, women are going to the grocery store more often than they are going to Planned Parenthood.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's just like they're freaking lost, man. And the reality is that in the way you kind of look at what's going to happen, what I'm seeing now, Robert, is that I think there's going to be infighting a bit, because you're seeing like Van Jones. Like, God, who would ever thought Van Jones is out there telling them, like, you guys got to stop the woke narrative, right? I mean, I'm paraphrasing. Like, he's telling these guys, you know, this whole woke agenda, the race baiting, which he's like the main race baiter, that, you know, that we need to change, that maybe we're the problem. Right. You know, and then on The View, you know, they're fighting amongst themselves because, you know, you have some of them actually being rational, saying, hey, guys, you know, the numbers are in. It seems like the majority of America does not agree or care about these issues that we're talking about. Right. You know, they don't really care about their kids having gender affirming care, you know, and safe-sex marriage issues, which, you know, I know that one didn't really come up, but, you know, they're more concerned with wars, foreign wars, and, you know, government overspending, what we went through COVID. Right. You know what I mean? I mean, that repelled a whole bunch of people. Oh, yeah. Right. So people remember, we remember all this stuff. And when you watch these people on TV, like CNN and all these pundits, I mean, these guys, we're the normal people, Like, I'm the normal guy. I'm the normal Latino, the middle class guy that, you know, lives the American experience, has to pay the bills. You know, Robert, you went through school, right? You put yourself through school. You're in a family business now with your dad. Your dad started a business coming here, which we'll get into your dad a little bit. We might have to make fun of his dad a little bit. We'll tell the story on him. He's a good dude, but it's you guys will be shocked when you guys listen to Robert, because he's a smart guy. Not that his dad's not a smart guy, but he is not you're not your father for sure, right?
Absolutely not.
No, absolutely not. His dad is ultra left, right?
Right.
Was that fair to say?
Oh yeah. I think that, you know what, the crazy part is he wasn't really big into politics, but as soon as Trump came around and made the comments, the famous comments, what was they're not all rapists or something like that coming into the country.
Oh, when he said that there's rapists and murderers coming from Mexico.
Right. And he wanted to stop immigration. And I think that he saw it as attacking his identity, right?
Yeah.
Because, you know, he came here in this country and he actually received amnesty under Ronald Reagan.
Yeah. Hold on, guys. We got a problem.
Can you guys hear the static?
Yeah, I can hear it. Yeah. Wait, go ahead.
Hold on, guys. Oh, there you go. You did something. It's something over there, Alfred. Here.
No.
Oh, is that you right there?
Yeah.
I'm out.
All right.
All right, hold on, guys.
Yeah. It's something with that cable here.
You know, it was that cable that we had the problem with, Alfred. So bear with us, guys, while we fix this issue. But now I'm remembering that on the last podcast, that same issue was happening for a little bit.
Did they cut the mic?
No, just
No, it's all right, guys. Yeah, I'll keep talking. You guys know I can talk. But what do we got going on in the chat here? Oh, what is this? Basically, ME. You don't see the other post? Well, I don't know. I can't help you there. Fernie Chavez, libertard words are just that, words. Yeah, guys. Oh, yeah, and then Yolanda Garcia. I think Yolanda Garcia, have you been with, I think you're with us every week, right? I think so. And yeah, Irma Barrios, all good. All right, guys. But yeah, what were we talking about? Oh, your dad. Yeah. So yeah, so I think that's kind of what triggered him. And you know, just so you guys get some background, I mean, your dad is first generation from Mexico, right? He was born in Mexico, right? How did your dad come here?
Illegally.
Oh, your dad came here illegally?
Legally.
Oh, okay.
When he was about, I think, 9 or 10 years old, approximately.
Oh, okay.
He came in. He was brought in through coyotes.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, this is the good old.
Yeah. So you guys can't hear him, but I guess he came here illegally. But just so fast forward, you know, his dad has a business, so he's self-employed. He's created a business. He's been successful. He's started a family business where you work, and I think your brother works there, and your mom, right?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. We'll get that going. So the sad thing is that it's so sad when I think of guys like Robert's dad that they don't. It's frustrating that they don't understand that they came to a country that the fundamentals and the values and the government and that is what allows for the success that he's had. Like, he ran from a system, well, he was young, but his family,
right?
Oh, there you go. Sound good now. Ran from a system, and you leave it behind, and then you come here, and you're now voting for the same policies and supporting the same ideas that your family ran from. I mean, that's what happened with all our families that came from Mexico. They're running from something.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. I think most of the world, honestly, I mean, America is the only country that has given people all of these rights.
Yeah.
Right. You go to Africa, they don't have all these rights, right? China doesn't have all these rights. A lot of European countries have actually minimized their rights as well.
Right.
South America, Latin America is all, I mean, the government controls your life, taxes you to an existence, and basically levels everybody. There is a middle class, but the majority of people are either extremely poor or very wealthy.
Right.
There's no really way to like move up the ladder. America's the only place to do that.
Right.
And these people, they don't know. I think they bring the ideas of the country that they fled,
right,
without knowing it, and they come back here and they want the safety of having a big government, without realizing that with that safety comes the inability to move up the ladder.
Right. No, exactly right. I had this conversation with my dad who lives in Mexico now, and I finally convinced him of the harms of because I am very libertarian when it comes to like the minimum wage laws, right? So I don't believe in minimum wage. To me, it's just logical that you let the free market do its thing. So I was talking to my dad about it because they have that new Mexico, that new party. I don't even know what they're called, Morena or whatever.
Yep.
That's what it is.
PRI, Morena, PRD. I think it's Morena.
Yeah, but that's the party that's in power, right? And
Correct. Now is the PRI, the PRI.
Nah,
PRI.
bro, she's Morena, isn't it? The lady that
I think
she's the same party that their current president.
Well, he used to be from.
Isn't he? He used to be, but I believe he's that Morena. Tell us in the chat. I know you guys know, but I'm pretty sure it's not PRI. I'm sure it's Morena. I think that's that new party. But anyways,
they'll tell us.
Yeah, they'll tell us. But the point being that so I was talking to my dad about it, and what I realized is that they're so conditioned to have this the relationship between, they're conditioned to believe that the government is like their nanny, right? They're their overlords, that they are their role is to provide for them. That's the mindset that a lot of people, not just in Mexico, but probably from other countries, I would assume. It's not like, I haven't taken a survey, but I can just speak to Mexico itself, is they don't look at government the way we do here in America. And that's what's unique. That's why it's the experiment, right? This experiment being is that we will self-govern, right? And that we will be, the government is by the people and for the people, right? And so that's a different concept than the rest of the world. And that's the concept that has allowed America to be the greatest country, the wealthiest country in the history of humanity.
Right.
So, and that's what we mean by making America great again, is going back to those of us from I mean, you're old enough to remember, you're not that old, right, Robert? Before wokeness even existed.
Oh yeah. I remember the 90s. The 90s.
Right, 90s, man.
I remember I was talking to my friends the other day, and you could say, like, you could have racist jokes. You had racist movies. You use all kinds of words, like we use, you can't say, like, let's say same sex now, right? That's the polite, polished way to say it. But there was another word that started with an F that people would always use to describe people, right? And it was normal even in my time to call each other that, all your friends. So there was an era where you just were allowed to do and say whatever you wanted to, and nobody took offense to it. We all knew that it was a joke. We all, maybe some people were butthurt about it, but for the most part, people just spoke their minds, and they weren't worried about being canceled or worried about, oh my God, I'm going to lose my job over this. Right. They just said whatever. It
would never even cross your mind. It was, it wasn't a thing, man. It wasn't anything that you would even think. You wouldn't have had like Tupac and Eminem and all those guys. Not that I promote any of that kind of stuff now, but the reality is that yes, we, even as a Christian believer, I'm not looking to have the government. I'm not looking to have the government regulate speech, force people to not use curse words, or, ban people from calling each other names, all that. They're trying to regulate morality, but their own woke religion.
Right, exactly. And that's what religion is there for, right? Religion is there to restrain yourself, right? To hold yourself back, right? To make sure that you control your speech, that you control yourself, control your thoughts, right? That's your religion. That's the point of religion. Government's there to do separate things, right? But you're supposed to restrain yourself because of your religious values. And by the erosion of religion in the country, the pure erosion, you've seen morality decline rapidly, right? And so we have to come back to a society that is religious, or at least open to religion, because that's what keeps everybody in line. When you remove religion, you get systems like communist China, right? Or you get communist Russia, right? That's when you get mass killings. You get the Bolsheviks, you get the gulags, you get all these. Morality goes out the way once you get rid of religion.
Yeah, something's going to fill that void. But this is where my buddy Robert's Catholic lingo comes in. I'm going to say, when you bring God, Jesus back, right, and Yeah, but yes, I know what you're saying. You got. I
100%.
just have to make fun of Robert.
And the reason why I wanted to add to that is because that is so true. That's why we have multiple parties. We got one party that is anti-God. In fact, one of the rallies, when somebody said Jesus is Lord, right, it kicked them out.
Yep.
Escort them completely out. Anything that has to do with God is like you're throwing holy water at them. So you got to make sure that you got aligned with somebody that goes to your moral values. You know what I mean? If and again, some people that are very progressive or, they're very they believe in pro-choice. I don't, there's people that we don't. I don't believe in, killing babies in the womb, period.
No, man. And apparently most of America agrees with us. Not necessarily that maybe they don't agree that, that they don't want to kill babies, but at least we can say it's not top on the list.
Exactly. Just like how we all got this whole the narrative that was given to us. It was a one party. Robert hit it in the nail. He said earlier, he says this one party was just moved on just one issue, one typical issue, which was abortion.
Well, abortion and Trump is evil and he's a dictator.
Well, for the most part, it was more about women's rights.
No,
right?
no, but I'm saying that's what they ran on. It was basically,
you're right.
It was basically protect your rights to kill your babies, and Trump is bad and a dictator.
I agree with you. I agree, because that was the narrative.
Right.
That was the whole narrative. Think about it. Somebody's been in power for approximately 12 years, right? The Democrat Party has been in power for 12 years out of the, 14 years? Meaning like Trump was only in power for 4 years.
Yeah.
Throughout those last, the Clinton administration, right? The Obama for 2 years. Mm-hmm. Remember?
Two terms, you mean?
2 terms. Yeah, sorry. 2 terms.
8 years.
Right? 2 terms, 8 years. It was a complete decline. Yeah. That's why, Robert, you're hitting it right in the nail when you're saying when you remove morality, right? When you remove God, what's going to take its place?
Woke, the religion of wokeness.
Exactly. Unmorality.
Right.
And that's why we were seeing, people having sex at the Congress, right? The 2 males having and posting it up on X, right? And it's okay. It's okay. We had men who didn't know it was men, but they had their chest flattening out like they're women. Come on.
Yep.
Is that morality? Think.
Yep. Alfred, what do we got queued up on that?
Oh, we got the. You guys want to look at the video? The number one video of I think it's Trump saying.
Yeah. So you guys, if you guys have been paying attention on X, Trump's already been out there, guys. It hasn't even the guy just got to office, and what happened? It wasn't even 24 hours. And what do we hear? You had Hamas come out and say, "Guess what, guys? We want peace." And the man hadn't even been president-elect for 24 hours. They were not even 20 hours, right? And then what happens next? Now the freaking got up caravans in Mexico. Guess what? Now you got the Mexican military because he picked up the phone. And my understanding is he called La Presidenta-elect over there.
Sure.
And whatever he said to her must have worked, because all of a sudden now, the military is now discouraging these caravans from proceeding, and they're sending them all back, right? Mm-hmm. It's going to get crazy because guess what? We're going to have mass deportation. And guess who else is going to have mass deportation, Alfred? Mexico.
Yep.
Mexico's going to have mass deportation. What do you think they're going to do with all the thousands, or I don't know. What do you think? Thousands or millions?
There's millions, bro.
What do we are? Thousands or what do you think, Rob? I don't know.
I right now they counted about 12 million. Okay, so they're counting about 12 million. That's the uncounted. There's more. There's more. I saw a news flash. One of the ladies was fighting for the million that the million a year that was promised under the Biden administration. It was $1 million. I think it was 30.
So Shannon is saying millions. Okay, we'll believe you, Shannon.
Million. Yes,
because we just believe anything. We just believe anything. That's how Trump got elected. We don't do our research. We just
that's how it is. But there is million. I think right now they're clocking it at approximately 11 million, right? But there could be more.
Yeah. So Zach, go ahead, Robert.
Sorry, and I'm just going to touch on that for a little bit. So just think about that, guys. It's 11 million people that are illegally in the country, you're saying, right?
Yep.
Okay. Let's just put that in perspective. Those 11 million people need a place to live, right? They're actually out renting houses, which is actually making rent unaffordable for Americans, right? So just imagine if all of a sudden 11 million people were not in the country, there'd be 11 million houses that are freed.
Yeah, on the market now.
Yeah. How much what would that do to property values? How would that help? Wow. How would that help the generation right now who's trying to purchase a home with 8% interest,
Yep.
Right? It's insane. Most houses in Orange County, for example, are probably what, close to $1 million.
Oh yeah.
That would add to a massive decline, making it affordable for the Americans that are here in the country right now. The houses that are here are designed for Americans. And so that would actually make everything affordable. So people could actually buy into the American dream again. But it's been vanished because people want to allow these people to come in the country and rent these houses, which is bidding up housing prices, bidding up rental prices. It's bidding up it's congestion in the roads. It's destroying the roads quicker. It's using all the public. So try to use any DMV or anything like that. Any public service is getting bombarded. All the hospitals are bombarded by these people who most likely don't have access to insurance. Right. So just all these resources are being diverted away from
the American citizens,
to these people that don't belong here.
Right. Exactly right.
And I'm just making that point that I just how I wouldn't want the same for America. I don't want the same for anybody else. Again, I've always stated this. I'm a nationalist. Mexico for Mexicans, America for Americans, Japan for Japanese. You know, if you're not in this country legally, I think you should probably leave and make your own country better.
Yeah, but the other side is glued on telling us that, look, poor people. I mean, look, they were allowed in here. They're already here. So it's kind of like this. It's kind of like strong arm everybody, strong arm our government, right? To actually fix what they don't want to fix themselves. Meaning, like, you got the DACA, right? You got the DACA recipients that are still waiting, you know, to pretty much receive the green cards. Hasn't moved anything. But we're adding up millions and millions of people to already congested
immigration system.
Immigration system.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
So let's listen to Trump's plan here to end the gender affirming insanity on our children. So this is the one of the first ones he came out, guys. So let's go ahead and hit play.
Insanity being pushed on our children is an act of child abuse. Very simple. Here's my plan to stop the chemical, physical, and emotional mutilation of our youth. On day one, I will revoke Joe Biden's cruel policies on so-called gender-affirming care. Ridiculous. I will sign a new executive order instructing every federal agency to cease all programs that promote the concept of sex and gender transition at any age. I will then ask Congress to permanently stop federal taxpayer dollars from being used to promote or pay for these procedures and pass a law prohibiting child sexual mutilation in all 50 states. It'll go very quickly. Furthermore, I will support the creation of a private right of action for victims to sue doctors who have unforgivably performed these procedures on minor children.
Beautiful.
The Department of Justice will investigate Big Pharma and the big hospital networks to determine whether they have deliberately covered up horrific long-term side effects of sex transitions in order to get rich at the expense of vulnerable patients, in this case, very vulnerable. I will ask Congress to pass a bill establishing that the only genders recognized by the United States government are male and female, and they are assigned at birth. Under my leadership, this madness will end. Thank you very much.
We're going back to the 90s, man. The 90s are back, Alfred. Back to the good old days where you're born a male or a female.
That's right.
Guys, so this is what Trump has a mandate, right? I mean, this was not a secret. It's not like he bamboozled us. You know, he didn't bamboozle the people into saying, hey, guys, I'm going to do one thing and now I'm going to do another, right? I mean, everything, I don't know what, I only listened to this one time, Robert.
Oh, sorry about that.
Sorry. So, man, going after, because, I mean, I don't know how much you know about this. I mean, not that I'm an expert, Robert, but, I mean, we know there's a whole industry that's been built around the, you know, gender affirming care. Correct. Right? There's doctors, there's a whole medical system, the big pharma's benefiting from this.
Right.
It actually put them in such an awkward position that all the major pharmaceuticals had a meeting not too long ago, a couple of days ago. I just heard that an emergency meeting because, you know, they're already thinking that, you know, what Trump is going to start doing is going to start impacting, you know, the pocket.
Yeah. I mean, it's the doctor, you know, when you listen to his plan, this is what gives me confidence, guys, is that it is obvious that this has all been thought out and planned. It's not like he woke up the day after he got, elected and decided, okay, how are we going to do this? You know what I mean? I mean, it's been, at least say 4 years of him and others putting a plan together on how to take care of this business, right? And I'm sure guys like Vivek Ramaswamy had input into this. I mean, I think one of the big time, I think the between Elon and Bobby Kennedy,
Right.
I think Bobby Kennedy, man, because that guy's a lawyer. He's fought the government. He's been successful. I think Bobby Kennedy, it's tough between him and Elon, man, because Elon. But I think as far as the government and how to go after and how to attack the deep state and how to actually end some of this nonsense, I have to believe that Bobby Kennedy has brought a lot more insight into this.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I don't know who else is advising him, but it's clear, guys, that this isn't like the first term, obviously, right? You guys have heard me be so skeptical about Trump actually doing something this time, but I think that, I hate because I'm always skeptical, man. You know what I'm saying?
No, me too.
So I always have to kind of keep myself in check, but I kind of want to allow myself to get excited that, dude, how do you deny that he doesn't have a plan, guys? I mean, you listen to this, everything he just said was well thought out.
Absolutely.
And this is before the fact of his own committee. Okay, so you don't have like a full-on committee. This is him laying out the foundation, the plan. This is him coming out and saying, this is what we're going to do. This is what's going to happen. This is next. And each individual thing. The next video talks about the freedom of speech.
Yeah, we'll get to that one. So let's go ahead and hit that, Alfred. This is his plan on freedom, man. Just listen to this guy, man. It's great.
If we don't have free speech, then we just don't have a free country. It's as simple as that. If this most fundamental right is allowed to perish, then the rest of our rights and liberties will topple just like dominoes, one by one. They'll go down. That's why today I'm announcing my plan to shatter the left-wing censorship regime and to reclaim the right to free speech for all Americans. And reclaim is a very important word in this case because they've taken it away. In recent weeks, bombshell reports have confirmed that a sinister group of deep state bureaucrats, Silicon Valley tyrants, left-wing activists, and depraved corporate news media have been conspiring to manipulate and silence the American people. They have collaborated to suppress vital information on everything from elections to public health. The censorship cartel must be dismantled and destroyed, and it must happen immediately. And here's my plan. First, within hours of my inauguration, I will sign an executive order banning any federal department or agency from colluding with any organization, business, or person to censor, limit, categorize, or impede the lawful speech of American citizens. I will then ban federal money from being used to label domestic speech as mis or disinformation. And I will begin the process of identifying and firing every federal bureaucrat who has engaged in domestic censorship, directly or indirectly, whether they are the Department of Homeland Security, the Department of Health, Human Services, the FBI, the DOJ, no matter who they are. Second, I will order the Department of Justice to investigate all parties involved in the new online censorship regime, which is absolutely destructive and terrible, and to aggressively prosecute any and all crimes identified. These include possible violations of federal civil rights law, campaign finance laws, federal election law, securities law, and antitrust laws, the Hatch Act, and a host of other potential criminal, civil, regulatory, and constitutional offenses. To assist in these efforts, I am urging House Republicans to immediately send preservation letters. And we have
Preserve your record, guys.
to the Biden administration, the Biden campaign, and every Silicon Valley tech giant ordering them not to destroy evidence of censorship. Third, upon my inauguration as president, I will ask Congress to send a bill to my desk revising Section 230 to get big online platforms out of censorship business. From now on, digital platforms should only qualify for immunity protection under Section 230 if they meet high standards of neutrality, transparency, fairness, and non-discrimination. We should require these platforms to increase their efforts to take down unlawful content such as child exploitation and promoting terrorism, while dramatically curtailing their power to arbitrarily restrict lawful speech. Fourth, we need to break up the entire toxic censorship industry that has arisen under the false guise of tackling so-called mis- and disinformation. The federal government should immediately stop funding all nonprofits and academic programs that support this authoritarian project. If any U.S. university is discovered to have engaged in censorship activities or election interferences in the past, such as flagging social media content for removal of blacklisting, those universities should lose federal research dollars and federal student loan support for a period of 5 years and maybe more. We should also enact new laws laying out clear criminal penalties for federal bureaucrats who partner with private entities to do an end run around the Constitution and deprive Americans of their First, Fourth, and Fifth Amendment rights. In other words, deprive them of their vote. And once you lose those elections, and once you lose your borders like we have, you no longer have a country. Furthermore, to confront the problems of major platforms being infiltrated by legions of former deep staters and intelligence officials,
Elon Musk
there should be a 7-year cooling off period before any employee of the FBI, CIA, NSA, DNI, DHS, or DOD is allowed to take a job at a company possessing vast quantities of U.S. user data. Fifth, the time has finally come for Congress to pass a digital Bill of Rights. This should include a right to digital due process. In other words, government officials should need a court order to take down online content, not send information requests such as the FBI was sending to Twitter. Furthermore, when users of big online platforms have their content or accounts removed, throttled, shadow banned, or otherwise restricted, no matter what name they use, they should have the right to be informed that it's happening, the right to a specific explanation of the reason why, and the right to a timely appeal. In addition, all users over the age of 18 should have the right to opt out of content moderation and curation entirely and receive an unmanipulated stream of information if they so choose.
Wow.
The fight for free speech is a matter of victory or death for America and for the survival of Western civilization itself. When I am president, this whole rotten system of censorship and information control will be ripped out of the system at large. There won't be anything left. By restoring free speech, we'll begin to reclaim our democracy and save our nation. Thank you, and God bless America.
God bless America. Did you hear that before, Robert? Is this the first time?
I've never heard that before.
What do you think about this?
It's amazing. That's amazing.
That was longer than I thought it was going to be, Alfred.
Oh man, but it laid down the five-step plan, bro.
So what's the odds? What's the odds that? So we see how the media is reacting, right? This is what I was thinking about. It's so you've seen it's kind of like they're being kind of cordial. Aside from you have some they're whining like racist and misogynist and all this stuff, but you're kind of skeptical because you're kind of like, man, they're kind of being somewhat reasonable. There's nobody on the streets rioting. You don't have Antifa running amok yet.
Well, you do have you do have those organized by NGOs, the organized anti-Trump marches in New York. I heard about they're preparing to get some march. There's just people getting they're just going after and saying they don't agree with that many people being thrown out of our country.
I guess what I'm saying though, Alfred, is that they're being somewhat civil on the media.
Sure.
And
which is kind of concerning.
Yeah, it's concerning.
It's scary, to be honest with you.
But then I wonder, like, when you listen to what Trump just said, right? I mean, are they freaked out? Because they're gonna, if he follows through with this one, I think is a little more difficult because it's not like he can just do executive orders. It's not like the border issue, right? The border issue, he just get it done.
It's like a valve, open and close.
Yeah, just make it happen. Give an order. I mean, he's got. Did I send you the video, Tom? Well, I think that's gonna come up. Our new border czar,
former ICE director.
Yeah, former ICE director, the freaking
Hoffman, right?
beast. Yes.
Oh man.
So you're just like, yeah. Soon as he's in day one, go have at it, bro. Take care of it. You know, just like he talks about when
JFK.
No, when he became president and he flew out to Afghanistan, right? I don't know if you guys heard him talk about the story that he flew out to Afghanistan to meet with the generals because the generals in Washington, D.C., and he always refers to them as like the TV generals.
Right.
Like they were trying to tell him, oh, no, making up all the excuses. So he's like, I'm going to jump on the plane and I'm going to go talk to the real generals, the guys out there doing the work. And those guys are like, he asked them, what do you need? What do you need to end this and annihilate, ISIS, right? Mm-hmm. And how long would it take?
A week, right?
And he's like, a week, whatever they told him. And he's like, all right, guys, do what you need to do. Just make it happen, right? That's what's going to happen here with Tom. I'm sure he already told them, all right, bro, that day I need you to get out there and I need you to make this happen, right? I need you to get out there, close the border. We'll watch that because them cartels are probably freaking out right now. But in the same token, when you listen to what he's saying, if anybody violated any Civil Rights Act, any election laws, any, I don't even remember the whole list. I mean, I'm just thinking, what are the odds that there is no violations there? You're going to find something.
Absolutely. There's going to be consequences.
Yeah.
I think people are scared of the consequences, right?
Yeah.
There's going to be long-term consequences. Everyone want to hear too in the video.
Right.
So my only thing is this all sounds amazing. This sounds great by Trump.
Right.
It's our job as people who voted for him to make sure that we hold his feet to the fire if he does not pull through, right? So if he's going to make all these bold claims day one,
he better.
Two,
yes.
If he's not doing it already, we hold his feet to the fire. Say, hey, what's going on?
Right. No, 100%, Robert. I 100% agree, guys. We can't just, Trump's in office and now we stand by and, no, it's just the beginning, guys.
I don't think that's going to happen, you guys. And the reason why I'm saying this is because he's caught on video. I mean, come on, he's laying down specifically what he's going to do for his plan. Number one, he's going for the plan for the immigration, and he's laying down.
Oh, no, I understand, Alfred, but this is the thing, okay? Just like you have, you have these, I'm going to just refer to them as Trumpsters, okay?
Sure.
Like the people that just, they're like the left,
Mm-hmm.
they just believe everything he says, not that he lies. I mean, he doesn't lie. Does he exaggerate? Yes. Does he embellish? Yes, he does. Right. Mm-hmm. But let's take one example, Alfred. Mm-hmm. I thought TikTok was bad. Right. All of a sudden now we're good with TikTok.
Oh yeah.
I mean, what am I missing, Robert? You know what I'm saying? Like, wasn't he supposed to ban TikTok because the Chinese are taking our data? And now he's on Joe Rogan bragging about how many TikTok followers he has, right? Like, that's the problem, is that people we do the same thing the left does. Well, I don't. I'll tell you that right now because I don't forget. But a lot of people on the right, they do the same thing.
Right.
Okay. Trump could start walking some stuff back. I mean, it happened the first term, Alfred.
Yeah, 2016. Yeah. So let's go back at 2016. Mm-hmm. How many people were pro-Trump in 2016 and 2020 and 2024 that were used to be never Trumpers?
Right.
Ben Shapiro, we go down the line. JD Vance didn't like Trump, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of people who were anti-Trump. Trump's a racist. Trump's Hitler. All this other stuff, mm-hmm. right? And now they're on board. But I just hope they're not opportunists and just being on board with him to make sure that they get on the team and then undo what he's going to do, right? Yeah. Like in 2016, he had so many opportunities, but a lot of times he was faltered by his own administration, the people in his court were doing things against him. And we saw everything that happened when he was in court.
Yeah. And I think the difference, hopefully, what seems to be the difference this time, though, is that, like we've heard this week, a lot of people come out around him, not just him, but talk about the fact that he did not know anybody, he had to, get help and rely on others to give him advice, and it turned out to be a mistake. I think now there's no excuse because he's had 4 years, right? And again, when you listen to these videos, he's been putting a lot of thought to this. I mean, obviously Elon Musk had to have something to do with these policies. I mean, a lot of their solutions that they're proposing right now is stuff that they identified through the Twitter files, right? Where he's talking about, he mentioned it on there, right? Like the FBI communicating with these platforms. Well, that's what we learned in the Twitter file. Former government agencies or former FBI guys implanting themselves into these companies, right?
Right.
So he's talking about what? That's no longer going to be allowed. I think, what do you say? Like
7 years.
like a 5 or 7 year moratorium, right? Or cooling period.
Mhm.
So, I mean, it's obvious that, they went through the Twitter files. They've gone and said, okay, how are these guys doing this? As far as the schools even, right? So they've looked at the school system. They've looked at the online platforms, the news media, and we now see, what's another reason why it's so great that he wasn't president 4 years ago, because he didn't have all the intelligence that he has now, all of the data to be able to determine how do I solve this problem, because we know how they're doing it now.
Exactly.
Right? I mean, 4 years ago, would you have had a clue?
We had an idea,
but you didn't know how. You knew what's happening.
Right.
You knew that, okay, there's some collusion going on between government and the school system.
Right.
There's some collusion going on between government and, these platforms, Facebook and all these guys, right? But we didn't know how exactly they're doing this, right? And now through the Twitter files, we know exactly how, right? So we wouldn't have been able to have this policy, this solution. But this was going to be a tougher one, but I guess it shouldn't be, right? Because again, we have a majority in the Senate and the House, and these guys better make it happen.
Yeah, there's no excuse now.
Right.
There's no excuse. You have the Senate, you have the House, you have the presidency, you have the support of the people, obviously.
And you have the Supreme Court.
And
right.
There should be no reason you can't accomplish what you need to accomplish.
Yeah.
Right? And if you need to fire people, even if it takes them to court, fire them.
Yeah.
If they're going to block his administration and block his results, just fire them. Worry about the consequences afterwards, but just take care of what you need to take care of.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. And what's the next one, Alfred?
Oh, the next one is about the deep state, the video for the deep state, how he's going to plan to.
Let's go on that one, Alfred. So this is what's the deep state solution. Have you heard this one, Robert?
I have not.
Man, you haven't. Okay, this is good stuff.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Here's my plan to dismantle the deep state and reclaim our democracy from Washington corruption once and for all. And corruption it is. First, I will immediately reissue my 2020 executive order restoring the president's authority to remove rogue bureaucrats, and I will wield that power very aggressively. Second, we will clean out all of the corrupt actors in our national security and intelligence apparatus, and there are plenty of them. The departments and agencies that have been weaponized will be completely overhauled so that faceless bureaucrats will never again be able to target and persecute conservatives, Christians, or the left's political enemies, which they're doing now at a level that nobody can believe even possible. Third, we will totally reform FISA courts, which are so corrupt that the judges seemingly do not care when they are lied to.
Pause this one real quick.
Applications.
Pause it real quick.
So many judges have seen so many applications that they know were. Yep.
I wanted to stop right there because I wanted to get your thoughts on that, Robert. Reforming the FISA court. I mean, why are we just not abolishing the FISA court? Do you agree?
There's no reason.
Again, this is what I'm talking about, Alfred. When the Trumpsters, they're just like, listen to this, and you'll just. But I just want to. We'll keep playing it right now, Alfred. But Adrian, I'm not looking for just mean tweets anymore. Well, thank God, Adrian. The demons are going to come back in 4 years with someone way more electable.
Ooh, Newsom.
Well, the problem with that, Adrian, I think we were talking about this before. I think the problem is that they no longer, there's a new media, right? And the media obviously did not help Kamala Harris get elected. I think at this point, I don't know.
Hollywood didn't help Kamala get elected.
Yeah, it didn't work. So, and if Trump is successful, and you imagine no more shadow banning. I mean, just think about the fact that with both hands tied behind our back, as far as when I say our back, meaning like the conservative side, the platforms, the conservative, right? But being shadow banned and being canceled, right? And yet we still won the messaging, right? We still overcame, MSNBC and CNN that nobody wants. They're no longer relevant. That's why they're freaking out right now, right, Robert? That's why they're freaking out. Can you imagine?
I think that's why they're being cordial, right? They're trying to be just like the Never Trumpers. We're Never Trumpers, and now they're going to be on Trump's side. They're trying to be unbiased, objective, so that way they can gain the trust again.
Right.
That's the only way it's going to work. If they continue bashing Trump like they were before, and he won, they have to regain some footing. And by gaining some footing, they have to be cordial. They have to be nice. They have to concede a little bit, so that way they can gain the trust back. You know what? People are going to watch and go, okay, you know what? Maybe the media is now being a little bit more unbiased. They're being fair. They're being fair to Trump. So maybe we could trust them again. That's their goal, I think.
Yeah, and I think that, and if Trump's successful passing these policies, they're not going to be able to do the nonsense they've been doing.
Yeah.
The whole misinformation nonsense. It's all gone. We're back to the 90s, people, right? So that's, Adrian, I think that's what the difference is. I think we're in a totally different world now. But I just wanted to stop there because, guys, it's a step in the right direction. But again, why don't we just abolish the FISA courts? We don't need them. But hit play, Alfred.
Were wrong, or at least they must have known. They do nothing about it. They're lied to. Fourth, to expose the hoaxes and abuses of power that have been tearing our country apart, we will establish a Truth and Reconciliation Commission to declassify and publish all documents on deep state spying, censorship, and corruption. And there are plenty of them. Fifth, we will launch a major crackdown on government leakers who collude with the fake news to deliberately weave false narratives and to subvert our government and our democracy. When possible, we will press criminal charges. Sixth, we will make every inspector general's office independent and physically separated from the departments they oversee, so they do not become the protectors of the deep state. Seventh, I will ask Congress to establish an independent auditing system to continually monitor our intelligence agencies to ensure they are not spying on our citizens or running disinformation campaigns against the American people, or that they are not spying on someone's campaign like they spied on my campaign. Eighth, we will continue the effort launched by the Trump administration to move parts of the sprawling federal bureaucracy to new locations outside the Washington swamp. Just as I moved the Bureau of Land Management to Colorado, as many as 100,000 government positions could be moved out, and I mean immediately, of Washington to places filled with patriots who love America, and they really do love America. Ninth, I will work to ban federal bureaucrats from taking jobs at the companies they deal with and that they regulate. So they deal with these companies and they regulate these companies, and then they want to take jobs from these companies. It doesn't work that way. Such a public display cannot go on, and it's taking place all the time, like with Big Pharma. Finally, I will push a constitutional amendment to impose term limits on members of Congress. This is how I will shatter the deep state and restore government that is controlled by the people and for the people. Thank you very much.
So, so like we talked about, but Robert, the I guess I'm going to look at this like I do now, the abortion issue. Okay. Because he was talking about continuously monitoring the FISA courts, right? And the agencies so that they can catch them. That's my word. I'm paraphrasing, right? They're going to continue to monitor these institutions so that they can make sure they're not spying on the American people and on other politicians like himself.
Right.
I would prefer to just do away with the whole capability of even being able to do so. I mean, that's the Patriot Act, right? The Patriot Act is what allowed for all of this. So in my mind, like, why don't we just get rid of it?
I don't think they can. Now that I'm thinking about it,
Mhm.
how would they do that? Because I think by nature, all these devices, like our phones, everything is designed to basically listen to our conversation, see how we speak, and sell us something back, right?
Yeah.
Or to monitor what we're doing, right? To predict what we're going to do. I have no idea how they would even roll it back.
See, Robert, that's why you're here. I was not smart. I'm not smart enough to have even thought about that, but you're making a good point.
Yeah, I don't know how they can roll it back, right? I mean, think about anything your phone, anything you type in your computer, anything you type in your phone.
Yeah.
It's all tracking you in some way. It's built into the system. So there's no way for them to undo it.
Right.
And even things like Siri or AI, right? Do you use ChatGPT or anything like that?
I have, but I don't really use it regularly. But
so
yes.
all those ChatGPT things were basically giving the system, we're feeding it basically how we think, how we type, how we talk to each other,
Right.
how we ask questions, what questions we ask, and it's going to feed us information. It's going to be useful now, but I think it's going to be used against us in the future. Right?
Yeah, because again, so that's why I started out by saying I think I have to look at this like the abortion thing, right, Alfred?
Right.
Where we have to be realistic that we can't just go from rolling back Roe versus Wade to like a federal ban on abortion. Like it's just we progressively got to this point, right? And we can't expect to just in one swoop jump back. So I think to undo a lot of this, just like abortion and the FISA courts, it would have to be progressively, right? Because like you're making a good point.
It
Like
be incremental.
Yeah, it had to be incremental. So you'd have to start rolling it back. So it's a good start. Where it says check out their clever new song called Train Wreck. Oh, I don't know what she's talking about. But you know what? There was somebody on top. Can you go up, Alfred? There was somebody. Go up a little bit. Somebody that said they voted for Trump 3 times.
It was I think it was Shannon.
Yeah.
Oh, Shannon Garcia. Yeah, I never liked Trump, but voted for him 3 times. Haha. I guess LOL. I'm not looking to be his friend. Just want him to lead us. That 100% Shannon Garcia. You know what I'm saying? If you don't like the way the guy sounds, you don't have to listen to him, right?
Yeah, and see that's one of the biggest problems of the left, man. They look at they're spoon fed all these lies about someone, and they discard the wonderful things he's done. Think about NAFTA. Think about the things that he was doing with the UN. Remember he kept on saying like, dude, they're taking advantage of us. Yeah, like all these nations, we're paying more than anybody, and we're not even there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, why are we paying this much? And what do we have? The warmongers here, the globalists here that are here. The swamp, as we call them. What do they say? No, but he's going to get us in trouble, and we need them, and we need one world order. We don't need that, man.
Yeah,
we need America first. Honestly, think about it.
Yeah, so let's play this because I have a feeling we're going to talk a lot about this because we are Latinos, and this is going to be the one. This is what puzzles. This is what puzzles that freaking woke retards. Sorry, I hate getting there, but I'm just like it's
R word.
Yeah, it's. I'm from the 90s. We get to say it, but we're back, Robert.
We're back.
We're back now.
Retard
We
now,
just say freaking retard because if not, Trump's putting you in jail, right, Rob? We just heard the man, but yeah, we're gonna get this thing's gonna get taken down already. We're not there yet. Let's wait till. But yeah, let's. So guys, our new borders are guys. This is our new borders are. So. Hit play, Alfred, because this is him speaking. I guess they made it official today.
He's upset.
He's our new borders are.
Here we go.
Hey, look, they gave me 5 minutes to say a few things, so if I offend anybody tonight, I don't give a shit. How many pounds of fentanyl didn't make in this country to kill Americans? How many known suspected terrorists didn't make it in the country? How many billions of dollars did the cartels make? President Trump is one badass president. He secured the border at a level we've never seen before. And I got a message to the millions of illegal aliens that's been released into the United States under this administration. Don't get too comfortable. Go we're going to need some help. Do I have any volunteers that want to come back and help run the biggest deportation operation in the history of this nation? In January of 25, the greatest president of my lifetime walking back in the White House. He tells me we got, I say 120 days. He says, no, you got 60 to lock the border down. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what I told the president. He comes back. I come back. We fix this shit.
Man, Alfred.
Golly, man.
Man, Alfred, did I say? Man.
Golly, man.
Man,
I mean, this is just one of the videos that I saw. The other videos was one of the reporters was asking him a question like, "Hey, how do you deport? How do you deport families? Like, how do you separate families?" And he was like, "You don't."
No, she said, "How do you deport people without separating families?" He says, "You deport them together." Common sense.
Savage, man.
Right.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is there something wrong with my? Okay, that's the thing. That's the thing. That's the thing that I never understood about people.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. Okay. My mother-in-law married an illegal immigrant. Okay. This was obviously not she divorced my wife's dad, right? And then she married an illegal immigrant, and then Obama deported him. Okay. And she stayed with his kids from another marriage. And he's never come back because Obama didn't let him come back. He tried like 3 times. And Obama was doing such a great job securing the border. He was actually. And that I do disagree with. Obama, when he was the deporter in chief, he did put kids in cages. Right. We know that. But
you can even go further back. Remember Bill Clinton, the Cuban kid? They like went in there with the SWAT team.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yeah. What was that? There's a little kid. I forget the whole story behind it, but they deported a kid. It was a huge deal. Like, he was a Cuban kid or something in the 90s. If you when Alfred,
I was in the 90s. I was like in high school having a good time, and I thought Clinton was cool because he played a saxophone. But yeah, if you can look it up, Alfred. But
I will look it up.
But what was I saying? Oh, so she, that's his wife. Why did she not go back with him?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing. Why you're separate families that are being deported. It's by choice.
Elian Gonzalez.
Yes.
From Brotons, I guess in 1993, as a Cuban engineer and politician as a young child, he was the center of a high-profile international custody battle. I think there was a problem. There was a little battle internally. The custody. I think there was a problem between both of their parents.
Oh, they were having a custody.
Yeah, there dispute? Was the child is in the center of a high-profile international custody dispute between family members and involving Cuba and the United States.
And I believe they went in like with guns drawn.
Yeah, they did
to remove them.
Child custody.
Who went in? Clinton did.
I think it was.
Well, during the Clinton administration.
Oh yeah.
So he sent guys in there with guns to go get them. Oh, to take them back to Cuba because okay, that sounds familiar now.
Yep.
Now that you guys.
But see, that was under the Democrats.
Yeah.
But
under them.
That's what happens, right? They're okay when it happens under their watch.
Yep.
Right. But not when somebody else wants to do the same thing in an actual, in a better fashion. Right. We're saying we'll take them both together. We're not saying guns drawn or anything like that, but we'll take them back together, back to their country.
Yeah. I mean, look, if there's a family where let's just say that the parents are illegal and the kids are American citizens because they were born here. Right. Which that's going to go away if Trump gets his way.
Thank you, Cheeseburger Ellie. I think she said Elian Gonzalez too.
Oh, okay. Cool. Good looking out, Cheeseburger Ellie. But yeah, or Eli, sorry. What was I saying, Alfred?
You were talking about the definition between both,
Yeah. So if you have a situation where you're going to have two parents that are illegal and the kids are not, because they're birthright citizens like me. That's how I.
Me too.
You too, right, Robert?
Me too.
And before you call us hypocrites, we'll get into that. Yeah, why would they leave their kids behind? That makes no sense. Right. Like the kids should go with them, right? And anybody else who's going to miss them can go back. I mean, are you racist that you think it's that you can't live in Mexico? Like, why can't you live in Mexico?
Well, what do other countries do, right? So let's say you're living in, I don't know, Guatemala.
Yeah.
Right. Would you leave your kids in Guatemala? No, you would take them back with you.
Yeah.
Right? Go to any other country. They don't go, well, we got to figure this out. Like if you're in Sweden, they're not going to send you all back.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't matter where you're from.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Go back.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. So yeah, I didn't mean to just sing on Mexico, but yes, there's illegals from other countries and they can all just go back together, and that's just how it works out. And again, before you guys people start calling me hypocrite for, supporting removing birthright citizenship, first of all, like I had no choice in the matter. Like it was my parents' idea, right? So here I am now. This is where I was born. I am an American citizen. This is my home country. And yes, I benefit, but again, I had no decision in the matter, right? And that's different from DACA recipients. Okay, the whole DACA argument that's a different situation because in my opinion is if you're here, if your parents brought you here and you've been here all these years illegally, that's your parents' fault. They brought you here to a country illegally. You've been here all this time illegally. You should just be thankful for the amount of time that you've been here. And if you happen to get deported back, don't be mad at America. Be mad at your parents for putting you in this situation. And depending on how old you are, I mean, if you're already like in your 20s and you've been here all this time and you're still illegal, that makes no sense because there's plenty of ways for you to become legal. Right, Alfred?
Well, think about it. You've been here as long as, the process itself, it takes about 10 to 15 years. Depending on the matter, it takes from 7 to 10 years, but you've already been here 15 years. So you practically wasted about 6 to 7 years on that process where you could have already.
Yeah, you didn't do nothing.
Exactly.
What have you been doing all this time?
A lot of people do that. They just sit here and let's see what happens. And then they get caught up with this whole situation where, hey, now everybody goes.
Right.
Hey, now you're part of the, those, but I've been here before. Who knows that? Right. It's not like what's his name? Hoffman is gonna be like, hey, little man, were you here before prior? Okay, then you can stay. No, are you an illegal? Did you do any type of processes to be in the United States? No? Okay, then you lost your time, right? It's been 25 years. You gotta go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
and birthright citizenship, again, let's just be real, people. We all have family members that take advantage of that system. I mean, I have cousins who've brought their pregnant wives right over the border into Texas to have the kids there so that their kids could be American citizens, and then they go right back to Mexico and live out their lives, right? I mean, it's just nobody else does this. Correct me if I'm wrong. No other country does this. You can't just. I don't even think Mexico does that.
No, it does not.
Right? I can't go to Mexico, have a kid, and now it's a Mexican. It doesn't work that way. I mean, I have a friend that she listens to Holly Fall. Shout out. She just moved. She's from Louisiana. She's a white girl from Louisiana. Okay. Who just moved over there. Did you ever meet Holly, Robert?
No.
You don't know Holly? No. Okay. She just went out there. Okay. She's this white girl from Louisiana. And guess what? She's got to have a visa. Right. And she just this week had to go down to the immigration, office so that she can get all her paperwork in order. And I guess she'll get like a 1-year visa, and then she can get like a 3-year visa. And then from there, she can do a 5-year visa, right? There's still a process. She still has to check in. Mexico doesn't just take you, right? And we know, again, they have voter ID in Mexico. I mean, you can't vote in Mexico without a voter ID. So,
bro, it's just hilarious, bro, that you need ID for everything, right? You need ID to drink. You need ID to smoke. You need ID. I mean, to even get a plane. I mean, a ticket to a plane. But you don't need ID to vote.
Did you guys see the map where it says Trump won all the states where voter ID was required, and the states that didn't have voter ID?
That makes you question.
Kamala won.
Oh, really?
Look up or something.
Yeah, I saw it.
So all the states, like including California, right? All the states that do not require voter ID to vote.
Yeah. So what do you think, Robert, about California? I mean.
So here's where I'm at.
Where are you at with this?
I'm a big demographic person, right? And it's going to sound kind of weird, but to be honest with you, white males in general are what keeps this country red. Okay, and if you look at who was it? Nixon. Nixon it was entirely red, right? The whole country was red, right? And then what happened was Ronald Reagan in the 80s provided amnesty to I think 1.3 million people,
right? And
I guarantee you most people who even received amnesty, like my father, didn't even know who gave him that. Right? Ronald Reagan was a Republican. Right? He gave amnesty, and then
your dad didn't know that Ronald Reagan gave him
until
amnesty?
I told him that.
Oh,
He didn't
really?
know. He didn't
My
know.
parents did. That's why my. So a lot of the Alfred, can you queue up the next app so I know what's coming up? But a lot of the people like my dad and people from that I know from that generation that received amnesty love Reagan because of that. Your dad's the first man. That's what
He didn't know.
He didn't know.
So
Wow.
how did all those people that received amnesty vote? They voted to change it back to Democrat, right? So look at the map after Ronald Reagan provided amnesty, and that's when you have the blue
No,
wave.
it's true, Robert. It makes sense because my parents were still Democrat. Even they love Reagan, but for whatever reason, even though they knew he gave them amnesty, I don't think my dad ever really voted. Well, my dad is not an American citizen; he's a resident, so he can't vote. My mom did become an American citizen, but this was like 15 years ago, and she voted for Trump this time around. Although she's like one of the Morena people, which I don't know, guys. If anybody's on the chat, I need to get myself educated on Mexican politics because I've heard some of these speeches from AMLO, and that dude sounds like a social justice warrior. Like he's
Socialist, bro.
Yeah, he sounds like a socialist. And the problem that I have is that I have like cousins and uncles that ask me about like what are my thoughts, and it's hard. Even with my dad, like I try to tell him, like, Dad, I listen to this, and I'll tell him like the little catchy phrases like social justice, justicia sociales. Like I recognize that stuff, and I'm like, oh crap, this guy's a bad dude, And so I think I got through to my dad because I was telling him, fortunately I can educate him on what social justice really is, and knowing that my dad's a Catholic and is not for abortion, I kind of had to walk him through like Dad, your position is against what they would believe in. In other words, if they consider that you're unjust on this social issue, then they must impose social justice upon you. So the very fact that you would either voice or tell that position, you're basically saying that you're giving them the authority to put you in jail over something like that or punish you, right? But these are conversations that I can say that like my dad's generation, takes us to the other thing. There's no in the Hispanic community, in the Spanish anyways, they have Jorge Ramos and Univision and Telemundo. I don't even know what the name is. That I just remember channel 52
and 34.
52.
Yeah.
Well, 34 is Telemundo, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah,
That's true.
yeah. 34 is Telemundo. Is it?
So this is Telemundo's 22. Well, 22 is Canal 22. Then you got
What's funny is that we're saying
Telemundo.
channels.
Yeah,
Is there even channels anymore?
I don't think they are, man. I think
it's
they've
stream.
streams now, man.
That's old school.
But this is the map that Robert's referring to, where it says, I think Elon Musk posted this up. He says states Harris 1 vices ID requirements. And look, no ID in Washington, no ID in Oregon, no ID in California, no ID in Idaho. In New Mexico, no ID in Colorado. All the ones that you see that don't require ID, practically, Kamala Harris won.
Well, Alfred, this just proves though that these racist policies in those red states. See, all the black people that live in those red states, they don't know how to get ID. That's why that happened.
Sure.
You know what I mean, Alfred?
Yeah, of course.
So all the black people in Texas, all the black people, all those red states,
They can't go. They don't know how to read.
They don't know how. They don't have
know how
IDs.
to go in the computer. Like what's her name? That one mayor from Hoco. She came out and said, "Poor kids. They don't even know what a computer is. They what."
They have their phones.
Exactly. Like
They have all
dude,
the-
they don't have a phone,
they
but
all
they
have
don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know where they live, bro. I don't know if they live under a rock, bro, to be able to say this.
well, that map proves nothing to me, Alfred. All that proves is the racist policies.
My sons are 9, 5, and 4,
Mhm.
and you give them an iPad and they'll be able to do whatever. So give an iPad to anybody, they'll be able to use it within a few minutes.
Oh
right?
yeah,
So whatever she's saying is absolutely ridiculous.
right.
Anybody
no.
with a brain knows that's silly.
Well, of course, she probably thinks black people don't have brains. That's the
course.
problem, right? What do you got there,
Do
Alfred?
you want to talk about this one? Do you want to talk about the Kerry?
Oh yeah, so I can't read it. Alfred.
Okay.
Did you see this, Robert?
I didn't.
Well, Donald Trump's concealed carry reciprocity means for gun rights. So Trump is proposing. There's actually another video, like that he put out, but it was actually really short. All he did was go on there and say that he's going to pass
Reciprocity.
reciprocity laws. So scroll down to the bottom, Alfred. So I'm trying to understand. My brain is pretty small, and I am Latino, so we're not very bright. And which brings me to this. Well, let's go. So it's basically what he's saying is, at the federal level, I guess what they're going to do is, what it sounds like to me is, what would you say? Am I describing this the right way? I think it would be a case of every state's gun laws would have to, basically every state would have to honor the concealed carry licenses. So like,
Okay.
what I'm guessing is, like, I know here in California, right? If I get a California concealed carry, I can't conceal carry in New Mexico.
Oh, okay.
Right. Or if you go to Arizona, I believe if you get a concealed carry permit in Arizona, it covers you for certain states. I think it covers Arizona, Utah, and California, I think. But there's a few states that you can carry on. So it sounds to me like this would
Nationalize it.
Basically nationalize it.
Okay.
Yeah. So that would be, man, go ahead.
Which would be actually ideal, because if you think about it, people have, let's say, in California, right? There's all these like no gun laws, or you can't have guns, right?
Mhm.
Well, if you're a criminal, where are you going to go? To the place that says no guns allowed,
Right.
right? If you go to places like Arizona or something like that, or Texas,
Yeah.
you don't know if that guy's carrying or not. So the likelihood that you're going to actually pull out your gun and do something is slim.
Oh yeah.
So if everywhere on the country you're allowed to carry concealed,
Yep. Yeah.
then the likelihood that somebody will come in and commit a crime will decrease.
Oh yeah, 100%. I was having a conversation this weekend. We'll go on to the next one, Alfred. But that's basically all I was talking about. I was talking to a woman. Was at my aunt's birthday, and one of her friends there. She's from this town. I'm sure there's somebody from Jerez in here. Jerez, Zacatecas. They're like everywhere in California, but there's a town, very small rancho. I don't know how would you say rancho in English? Alfred?
Rancho.
No,
Yeah,
but
rancho. Or
in English, that's Spanish.
Oh, in English. In English,
Well-
it would be like a ranch.
No, because a ranch in English is like a ranch, like Yellowstone Ranch.
Oh,
But you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But in English, I guess it would be more of a village.
A village. Yeah.
Am I wrong, guys? Can you help me out on the chat?
It could be a village.
Because in Spanish, a rancho,
Mhm.
Visually, you show up to a rancho, right?
Yeah.
It's smaller than a pueblo, which is
Yeah.
a pueblo would be what a town,
A town.
right?
It's like a small town, maybe.
So it's smaller than that. It's like maybe 10
community,
people. So it's more like primitive living, and it would be more like a village.
The BB says, I thought it was a dipping sauce. Ranch. Hey, pass me the rancho.
But anyways, doesn't matter. That's besides the point. So I'm just going to use the word village, but it's
Village.
a rancho in outside of a town, which is a pueblo
Town.
called Jerez. And they have a lot of fertile ground. And what happened is the cartels went in and they ran everybody off. Like they took over their house, everything. Why? Because in Mexico, they don't have any guns. They're the only ones with the guns. So apparently they were able to take the rancho back because they were going to the government. The government wasn't doing anything about it. So I'm not clear on how, but they were able to arm themselves and they went back and took their rancho back. But that, again, to your point, that's kind of what happens, right? Like that's the problem in Mexico is the cartels are the only ones with the guns,
Right.
which is why they can just go, and in broad daylight, just go in and kidnap somebody, extort people in broad daylight. They don't care what day it is. They don't care how many people are there. It doesn't matter. They're not worried about anybody shooting back.
Right.
It's just not a thing. And so again, that's why it's important for us to have our Second Amendment protected.
100%.
But Alfred, what was the other one you had there? I thought I sent you.
That was it, I believe.
That was it.
Yep, that was it.
If you look at your email, Alfred, I don't know if you could still pull it up, but I had sent you over an email, and it had
Another
Yeah, I think it was like
another X.
yeah, it was
I'll check.
today. I sent you it should be a I'm trying to think what I titled it, but it's basically a clip of a documentary.
Oh, it starts at 16. Got you.
Is that the one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yes, I'm glad you have. You think you can put it up?
Yeah, I'm gonna put it up.
Okay. So this is really cool, guys. So apparently, there's been a documentary. So this is gonna be cool because this is like a long footage, but I just sent you kind of a section that stood out to me. But it seemed, Trump's been having people follow around the campaign.
Mhm.
It's pretty cool. So in this documentary footage that I sent you, Alfred, way before this, they're showing like behind the stage stuff at the debate, like when he had the Kamala debate, and they started fact checking them. And it's cool because they captured like the people in the back. They're all pissed off because they're fact checking Trump. But this part here, Alfred, it's after he gets shot. So once you get it queued up, what's going on here is this is after the first assassination attempt. Yeah, so you have to move it over, Alfred, and get to, what did I say, 16?
1622, you said? But I started a little earlier.
1622?
Yeah.
Well, no, started where it is. I mean, I put 22 for a reason, but get close enough. But
you want to start it at the beginning?
No.
Or you want
1620? No, it's way too long. 1622. So I just wanted to play this clip, and I thought it was really cool, guys, because what it is that he's somewhere where he's meeting with some of the people that were in the audience. And what I thought was really cool, you'll notice, is that he remembers some of these people behind him. You're going to see the woman that he's talking to, she was on his right shoulder, and you're going to notice that he remembers who she was, and then he remembers who was next to her during the shooting, which I thought is just so impressive, man. But you have it up, Alfred?
Ready to
All right,
go?
let's play.
Ready?
All right, any minute now.
Anytime now. You got the button.
Well, yeah, we have it up. Yeah, it's probably gonna because we have to skip over,
But
but
skip over it. Yeah, but you're talking about his mental.
just the. I mean, I don't know for sure. I'm just kind of like tripping that. How does he remember like who was sitting behind him? Well, you know what it is. I'm guessing he watched the videos back.
Yeah.
He must have watched the footage because then he talks about the guy in the floppy hat. There was a guy.
Yeah.
There was a guy that was wearing one of those. What do they call like those fishing hats? What do they call them? Those bucket hats?
The bucket,
the floppy ones.
But he was wearing the square, right? The square.
I don't remember what the shirt, but when they're shooting, the guy's still standing up and he's just looking around. The guy didn't like panic.
Right.
So he remembers that guy. And he'll be on this video if we can ever get it to come up.
It's just going away like crazy. Let's see. The buffering.
Well, just let it ride up and not just let it keep going. It'll start when it starts. But well, what I was getting to earlier though, Robert, is that I think what's going to happen is going back to what you were talking about, how we look back at the Democratic Party of the past, and they actually were pro, securing the border and enforcing border laws and deporting back in the 90s, right? So, now they're in this position where, the Pelosi's and all of these knuckleheads allowed the woke mob to take over. And so I think it's pretty clear now that they're looking back in this whole week. Now, you don't think Nancy Pelosi...
You remember Shannon, right?
I remember your daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I remember from the store too. Were you?
All right.
It's a big right next to them. Great. These are incredible people.
At the same place?
Same place, same stage location.
Yeah, this is it.
Okay. Right for our PTSD.
Ready, guys? Go take.
Do we need to make it bigger, Alfred?
You remember Shannon, right?
I remember your daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's a
I
great kid.
remember from the store too. Well, you were a witness. You weren't with her. Right?
Oh, she was underneath me.
Oh,
I laid
you
on
were?
top of her.
You mean to protect her?
Yeah, and then Michelle your advance guy laid on top of me.
And we were right next to them.
Yeah, you were right next to,
Wow.
yeah.
You mean so you were in the pile? We were right next to them when they went down. Secret Service jumped on top of them. We were rolling the whole time.
But this guy's great. I'll bet he has footage that probably nobody's seen before.
Nobody's seen them.
Yes, sir.
It was a terrible, terrible thing. But there was a lot of bravery with Secret Service, the way they jumped on top, et cetera, et cetera. Bullets are flying all over the place. A lot of people would have said, I'll take a pass. Normally, they'd be running. You didn't have anybody flee. You didn't have anybody stampede. Nobody. And there were some people behind me. They stood up and they're looking like, I mean, I tell you, you want to have them in a foxhole with you. I want to meet some of those people.
That thumbs up. There you go. Beautiful. 2, 1.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks.
Yeah, I like the blue hat.
I was right behind you at Butler.
Oh,
I was right behind you at Butler.
Oh, you were sitting
Can I
right
show you real
behind
quick my picture?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I know. I
My
saw you
camera.
behind me over my right shoulder.
Yeah,
She was
You
with
see?
me over
Over
my
his
right
right shoulder.
I know that.
yeah, that was me.
Yep, I saw you there. Come on, let's take another one. We got to make sure we get a good one.
3, 2, 1.
There was a lot of bravery that day. I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about the people. Nobody ran. I have.
No, they ran to you.
And she wasn't fleeing. I can
She
tell
didn't
you.
move. You know what? I wanted to make sure you were okay.
Thank you, Darryl. She didn't move. Who was the guy on your left with the floppy hat?
That one guy. He's looking. The bullets are flying. He wasn't worried about getting hit.
Look at him. The folks in the bleachers at Butler Rally, he's here to meet.
Guy right behind you.
Yes, sir.
You were the greatest. The black and the green hat.
Yes, that's
Oh,
him.
you are the greatest. Thank you, sir. This guy had more guts. He was up there looking. Hi, Jeffrey, come here. We love you. I love you. My wife loves you. You're a famous guy. You got no fear. No, colorful. I watched it behind.
There you go, Alfred. Just leave it there. They just go on.
That guy wanted to.
But
I've been around gunfire a lot because I was up for the wall.
He's still
Yeah.
sharp, man.
isn't that you guys caught that, right?
Yeah.
Like initially he didn't, she jogged his memory. She's like, yeah, you're over my right shoulder. And the guy next to you, right? It's
The guy with the hat. The hat.
The guy with the hat. And I heard him talk. I had seen like somewhere else where he was being interviewed talking about that day, and he mentioned the guy with the hat. But this is why he won, man. Because the guy is real. He's real, and people. Thank God, man. When I was talking to you earlier, Robert, like when I was saying like 2006, all these years, when you see like the truth, the real, right? And you just so disappointed when you don't see that people recognize like the truth, and Trump is just so real that thank God people saw through the lies, the deception,
We've come a long way too. Think about it. Mitt Romney, right? He was like a super polished person. He said all the right things. He was really apologetic. I'm glad that Trump has broken that on the right. We don't need any more super polished politicians. We don't need somebody who's going to say the right thing. We want somebody who's going to do the right thing. Right. That's what we elected.
Yeah.
Less talking, more doing.
Yep. Yeah, and you've heard many people talk about him, how the elite don't like him. Even before he was president, you had Hollywood loved him, a lot of people but they talk about a lot of the elite, business world, how they didn't like him, and he didn't really hang out with them either. But because you see now, like he's just a real guy.
Yeah.
He's just a real guy. He's more comfortable with being around the common people, if you will. I mean, it sounds just weird because I don't want to sound like one of these people that's an
He's
idiot.
a populist.
Yeah, he's a real guy. I mean, he's not. And so when you watch that footage, it's really cool, man. You can't really fake that. I mean, I guess you could. You'd have to be so evil. Like Obama was. I always considered Obama to be so evil because he would lie with such ease.
Hey, deception.
Yeah, it's like, how do you lie, bro? And it's so easy like that. Like you have to be evil, man, to be able to lie to people like this, right? I mean, you look at Kamala. She didn't stand a chance, guys. I mean, I mean, do you think that if you had behind the scene footage of her, like, look at the what was that clip that they had of her supposedly talking to somebody on the phone, and then she shows her phone. Did you see that?
Yep. I did.
Right.
But what did Kamala stand for? Think about that. If you remove Trump from the left right now, what do they stand for? What are their principles? What are their values? What are their virtues? What do they stand for?
Yeah.
Nothing. They just, all they do is they're against Trump. Whatever the heck
Right.
Trump is for, they're against that. Right? I mean, do the Democrats, are they for the union workers? No. Are they for the families? No. Are they for women? No. They're for women destroying their children.
Right.
Are they for what are they?
Yeah, they're for women getting punched by men.
Yeah, exactly. Women getting dominated by men.
Right.
So the Democrats right now, they feed off of people who hate themselves, hate their country,
Right.
hate who they are, hate how they were born.
Right.
I was born a male. That's how God made me. I'm not gonna reject my programming. Right? God made, just like, I mean, I'm just gonna be kind of biblical, but
Yeah, go ahead.
think about the angels, right, and the demons.
Mhm.
What did the demons do? They rejected the programming. God made them for a reason,
Right.
and they said non-servium. I will not serve. I will not go with the programming you gave me. What about Satan? Right?
Right.
He was created for a certain reason. The same thing. He
Right.
rejected his programming. So there's just a lot. The Democrats have this. They have the voter who hates themselves. I mean, look at the people when they're. I'm not trying to generalize here, but a lot of Democrats, they have blue hair. They make themselves unattractive.
Mhm.
They're doing that right now, right?
Yeah.
A lot of women have who are anti-Trump. They're shaving their heads.
Right.
They're doing all these things to make themselves look ugly, right? Because
Right.
they don't love themselves.
Yep.
And they stand for destruction. They stand
Yep.
for something else that is not them, right?
Oh, yeah.
And that's what I'm saying is I don't think Kamala stood for anything besides self-hatred.
Yeah, so looking at this from a Christian worldview, right, we understand that there's a spiritual war, and I guess when we take it to that level, right, that this is what makes it so exciting that there's got to be a spirit. This also has to be an indication of a spiritual awakening, a rejection of evil and anti-God principles, and an acceptance of God. Doesn't mean everything, right? Doesn't mean everybody's like now, but obviously people are, there has to be an impact with trying to say that man is not men and that there's multiple genders and women, kids can become whatever they want. I mean, I believe that was a big part of why women didn't vote for Kamala. Men didn't vote for Kamala. I mean, we're men. We're designed to protect our families, right? So when we have the government trying to replace us, right, by saying, like here in California, that, hey, guess what? If your kid wants to be a girl or your girl wants to be a boy, we're not even going to tell you, right? We don't have to tell you this. That's a freaking problem, right? But going back to where I was going from a spiritual perspective, yeah, it's crazy. It's demonic. It's demonic stuff. It's interesting because the devil wants to destroy what God created. So God created you in a certain way. One of the ironic things is how you hear a lot of these liberals say, be you, right? Like be yourself, be you, right? Be your authentic self. Well, how in the heck are you being your authentic self when you're born a woman with the, with all the chromosomes and the parts and everything, but they're telling you, no, be something else.
Right.
Don't be your authentic self. Right. Guess what? You were born with black hair, which is what you are. You're, let's just say a black hair, brown eyed girl. But now, you know what? You're a purple hair, blue eyed, guy. And so it's the naturally, that's what the enemy does. It wants to take what God created and just destroy it and taint it, And so thank God, guys, it's a step in the right direction that we're headed. It's exciting. I'm super pumped. Do we have any more other clips there offered or we're done with it?
That was it.
Okay.
Yeah,
How long we been going?
Bro, it's an hour and 42.
Oh, we better wrap it up. But yeah, guys, I'm excited. And like Robert said, yeah, it's just the beginning. We have to make sure we're holding them accountable. And that's something I wanted to bring up before we go, Robert, is
absolutely.
One of the things that, and I don't know what your thoughts are. One of the things that I realized is so many during this campaign and with Trump and JD going to all these podcasts, they made so many relationships and connections with those individuals. And so what I noticed is because I was watching the Theo Vaughn, because I didn't watch all the, so I'm like, I started watching the Theo Vaughn interview, and some of the other podcasts that we're on now, like, when he went on Joe Rogan. So what I'm saying is that you have people with a direct line and access to him, or at least people that are very close to him, like Bobby, like Elon, right? So, like, we were talking about earlier, like what happens if Trump tries going rogue on us? Guys like David Smith, right? Which, he's not going to let things slide.
No.
These guys are going to hear it from, you don't think that Elon Musk isn't going to get a bunch of phone calls if Trump starts kind of flip-flopping on something? Dana White, Joe Rogan, you don't think Joe Rogan's going to call like, hey bro, what's going on? I thought we were closing the borders down. I thought we were building a wall.
Right. That's the beauty of the right. I think that the left is like one gigantic like bubble. Nobody goes against each other, right?
Right.
Whatever somebody says, they go with the line. The right has the ability to criticize all of us, right? There's like the MAGA guys, there's the neocons, we have the ability to criticize each other. But now you're right, with Trump having all these people close to him, there's going to be a lot of avenues to get to Trump.
Right.
And if he's falling down or failing on some of his actions, I guarantee you're right. Somebody's going to tap on his shoulder and be like, hey, somebody like Nick Fuentes or somebody
Tulsi Gabbard,
they're going to start criticizing him, and they're going to start calling him out. And they have large audiences because we know the media, the old media is dying.
Yeah.
And now all people are getting their information from podcasts,
right,
or smaller operations.
Right.
And so those operations have a lot of views, and they're going to start trickling. Clips are going to be made, and those are going to go viral, and that's going to get his attention.
Oh yeah, exactly right. And I think that changes the whole dynamic, with the people being able to get their voice to the president of the United States, because he's the president of the people, obviously. So yeah, guys, if you guys help us grow our channel, maybe we'll have direct access to Donald Trump. You know what I'm saying? Like we could get Elon Musk to come over here, or JD. Man, JD's a cool dude, man. I was skeptical of that guy, but in the beginning, man, and I'm hopeful, but we got to keep an eye on him, guys. I think we need to take this next 4 years to vet Vivek, who doesn't have a lot of record for us to look back on, right? And we need to look at JD, because these guys are new to the scene, so we got to take note. You know what I mean? We got to take note of what these guys are doing, what they're supporting, what they're not supporting, what they're out there saying, and kind of put that on the memory bank. And don't forget about it, because come next election, right, we know it's going to probably be maybe JD, maybe Vivek, who knows? You know what I'm saying? I'm definitely, I like Tulsi Gabbard, but she's too liberal for me. But she's a good woman. She's pro-America. At the end of the day, if she were to win, I wouldn't be too freaked out about it. But I am definitely rooting as of right now for JD or Vivek. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
I think Trump has paved the way. Think about it, right? He's now a convicted felon, I guess.
So awesome.
but he's paved the way. He's been hated on for years. He's been called racist. All the words are used against him: misogynist, rapist, all this other stuff. And what did America do? They voted for him anyway. Right.
Yep.
So the next candidate doesn't have to be a polished person. It could be any person, right? As long as they could stand their values and they could stand for what they believe in. That's gonna change the game completely. We're not gonna no longer go back to Mitt Romney's and John McCain's and the Bushes. We're going in a different direction, right? The people are going in a slightly different direction, and we're not gonna go back. I think it's hard to roll back now.
No, definitely, guys. All right, guys. Well, thanks for hanging in there. We appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Go to our Unrestrained channel on YouTube. We'll be here again next week, right, Alfred? At 7?
Yes, sir. Yes,
and,
sir. 7.
Yeah, hopefully Robert comes back as often as he wants.
That's right. Robert,
and
thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, and then thanks for coming, man. We'll
how can people reach you, Robert? I know people are gonna ask, hey, how do we reach out to Robert?
Robert used to have on Instagram, you had a big you got canceled, right, Alfred? Robert? I forgot about you had a red pill.
Right.
Was it red pills?
Yeah, I'm not really super active.
Not anymore, right?
Media stuff. I just kind of stopped.
Yeah.
But
I did too.
No, so there's no way to reach me. I just have like my my private profiles. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
just reach out to us.
But we should have talked about that. I just remembered he used to have a pretty big following on your red pills. You had a decent amount of.
There's about 60,000 followers, and then Remember when that woman got shot in J6?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
Bobbitt.
So I
yeah.
posted that video and it got taken down and deleted.
And that was a wrap,
And
huh?
I just stopped doing it.
Yeah. So that's what happened, guys. That was
All right.
back in the day.
Hey, well, we'll see him here. I know this is not the first time. I know he loved it. He enjoyed being here, man, and having these conversations, especially because he's so young and he's actively working in our communities, just like other people around here. They're working. You know, the bottom line is that we, as American, we as America, we came together. Look at us. We came out of the mist, right? We had a Goliath with the media, right? Because we were propagandized, right? But look at what we did. We found an alternative media. We found podcasters. We found people. We were able to get the information that we needed to make a decision on who can run our country. And I think for the most part, everybody went out of the woodwork. I know it was because of Elon Musk, who purchased Twitter, right? That the information flowed. And I think it made it a lot easier for us because now I remember anything I needed. I did not go to MSNBC, Telemundo, or Univision. I went straight to X and just look at different sources, different people. You know, there's reliable people that are providing the adequate information. Now, for some of you, there's a thing going on November 13th. I think there's a vote. We didn't talk about it, but the Senate vote, man, they're trying. Mitch McConnell is trying to put in 2 senators to take over the leadership of the Senate role. Remember, Mitch McConnell is leaving. He's no longer, as of November something. It's his last. Kind of like his last, he's pretty much going to stay until his ventures to his term on the 2026, but he's already working his way to prepare, some people that don't like Donald Trump, just like James Corrin and John Thune. They want to put him in there. One of them wants to take the leadership for Mitch McConnell. And I think for us, the American First, just to help President Donald J. Trump, we need Rick Scott to come in from Florida and to take on that leadership position. So read about it. There's a lot of chat going around out there and chat, and not only in X, but in everywhere. People are talking about this. So if you have an opportunity, I mean, we're in California. We can't call our senators because unfortunately our senators are what? Are liberal. Yeah. Like my senator is Alex Padilla. So what is he going to do? Who cares? I don't care. He doesn't care. But you know what? You can influence other people out of state. People that are out in Alabama, people that are out there. There's a list already going around there. So call your senators so you can make your voices heard. That we need to get Rick Scott into office. I mean, into the leadership of the Senate role.
All right, man.
All right. Thanks.